Hello everyone, welcome to more FACEIT action from the round robin. We're in round 3 and today we're going to be watching Quick Esports against R8 Esports. So it's sort of a battle of the newly orged teams. Now, if you're not familiar with these teams, Quick Esports was formerly dImpero, who you might have heard in OWCS Stage 2, and likewise R8 Esports are Peace and Love, who you also might have been pretty familiar with from OWCS Stage 2 and EMEA. So both of these teams are going to face off against each other. I think when we think about the FACEIT structure and that we want to be in the top 8 of this round robin, I think these kind of games are actually the super important ones. I think dImpero really have a bit of a chip on their shoulder in terms of they got into the top 8 in OWCS Stage 2, but do they actually deserve to be there? Did they overperform to get that spot? Or are they genuinely a team who should be in contention for these top 8 spots consistently? And that is on them to prove under the banner of Quick Esports. Meanwhile, for R8, I think they lost. If you saw their previous series against Twisted Minds, you would have seen they lost it. And you would have maybe looked at that series and gone, how on earth have they lost that? They came up with a bit of a weird comp, a bit of an anti-dive comp that threw Twisted Minds for a loop. They should have beaten them, but actually it was R8 who failed to adapt. Even though Twisted Minds had issues adapting to the R8 comp initially, once Twisted Minds had adapted, R8 just kind of died on the hill they built for themselves, and I think that was like a huge missed opportunity for R8 in their previous series, so they'll be hoping to redeem themselves a little bit here. We can take a look at the schedule just so you can see where we are in the grand scheme of things, if I can press the right button. So we're in round 3 right now, so we're still relatively early on. But I think all these games, some of them I've highlighted green here, but these sort of games between like the R8s and the Twisted and the Ataraxia and the Quick and the R8 and Twisted and Quick, all these sort of games I think are going to be really crucial into figuring out who actually gets into that top 8 and who can have that shot at one of those top 3 spots to get yourself an Esports World Cup ticket. So we can talk about bans and everything quickly. I won't show you the bans just because if I show you the bans, I also reveal the score. So if people want to watch it spoiler-free, I will keep it spoiler-free as best I can. So in terms of bans, what we normally see from Quick is a perma-ban of Oasis and mostly banning Paricio. Whereas R8 have varied quite a lot in terms of what they'd pick. So it's a little bit hard to read for Veto going in. Both teams have done a few different things. But if you go to the actual ban, it seems like Quick Esports are actually going to ban Oasis, as they normally do. And then R8 are going to ban Samoa, and Nepal will be the pick by Quick. And then next map will obviously be hybrid. R8 will ban Midtown, Quick will ban Paricio, and then Eichenwald will be picked by R8. Eichenwald, obviously the map that R8 won against Twisted Minds. And then as we go on to the Escort, if we get there, Quick Esports ban Junkertown, R8 ban Shimbali, and Rialto was the pick by Quick. Nice to say. So that's how our series looks. That's where we'll be going, potentially, in this series. I think, in terms of the actual draft, I don't know if it favours either team massively. It feels like both teams mostly got what they wanted. Maybe you can make a question that actually on the hybrid, would Quick have been better banning Eichenwald because R8 had won it? But even though R8 beat Twisted Minds, they beat Twisted Minds playing like a Bat Brig double hit scan Ryan comp. So I don't think we're going to see Pat Brig double hit scan Ryan, but let's go in game and let's find out if that's true or not. So here we are. We're in game. We're going to be starting on Nepal Sanctum. We can... Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me do that. Okay. All right. So it does say first to 3 at the top, but it is actually best of 3. So only 3 maps total if the first 2 go 1 to each team. But we'll wait and see what we get. So big questions I have initially for the R8 side of things is what comps are they actually going to play? Because we saw them play this Bat, Brig, double hit scan Ryan, but I think that was a very much a specific comp to help deal with Twisted Minds. So what are they going to do in a more standard matchup? And I think you can really ask the same question of Quick Esports and go, hey, you had all that success on Orisa. It's clearly a very strong hero for Crocs. But what are you actually going to do? What are you going to do now, essentially? Ooh, let me make sure my sound's okay. Yeah. There we go. And we'll be kicking this one off, and it looks like we're going to go straight into a Winston mirror initially. Lucio Kiri versus Anna Brig. Interesting to see this on Sanctum. Nice and slow start with both hit scans just playing the opposite angle. You can see Lauren and China and Keo, and actually they're trying to overload it here. Quick one to overload it, but they catch Beer actually. China's going to be trying to push forward as well. Pressure onto Alisu. He's going to be able to get out here, but they've lost all of the space, R8 Esports, so they will be thoroughly stuffed back in the choke. They'll have to give first cap, and I don't think they'll be able to get out of this one. They're going to be able to repeat once they get their respawns here. So the Anna Brig can have a hard time getting run over by this Lucio Kiri. They're going to be forced back to point. Where's Gogo going? He's actually isolated. Unlimited, aka Hera, will actually be able to pick up that kill. Now coming right-hand side is China. He's onto a Beak. A Beak's got all the packs, able to self-nade as well. Bia is now with him. Meanwhile, Alice, who's actually picked up Keo on the point. So a really messy fight. Everything happening all over the place. It didn't really feel like a cohesive dive attempt from Quick Esports ultimately. And because of that, it meant a Beak was able to survive the tracer pressure. And then they were just able to clean up on point. Generally, you want to see more situations where it's sort of a 5-man. They manage to connect a lot of people into the same area onto this Anna. We're going to see the dive again. Crocs is going to get naded, and that's going to slow him down. And whoa! Hera on the far side with a 2k pulse bomb. B is going to finish off China as well, and this push is going nowhere fast. R8 Esports on top thanks to Hera. Unlimited pulse bomb value. They're going to hold close with this next one now. Nade, Nano, everything going to be up. They can Nano into Primal. And actually, they catch Hera this time on the repick. Nice pick from Keo. Alice's going to bubble up a choke, so a chance to push after this here. They have the Kitsune Rush if they want to keep going. Alice is going to have to Primal, I think. There we go. He's going to drop it. He goes to point with it, forces for recall. We'll just hold on to point for now. Nothing too fancy. Doesn't really catch anyone with this. It's not the greatest looking Primal you've ever seen, but he's held on to point, but he's going to get post-bombed afterwards. China will finish him off. Meanwhile, Abik's actually managed to sleep and deal with Crocs, but Crocs has this Primal as well. So Abik is going to be in the corner, will get focused down ultimately, and they actually use less ults, I think, for that retake, surprisingly. It was only the Primal that was used. In the end, Alice's Primal gets absolutely nothing. Doesn't even force out a defensive Kitsune Rush or anything like that. So now, all of a sudden, actually a very good ult situation for Quick Esports. They can go with this Kitsune Rush aggressive if they want. Really, if they can lay it on top of the Anna Brig is going to have an impossible time surviving. But Crocs is actually going this right-hand side right now. Meanwhile, B is pushing with Rally. A very peculiar-looking fight. Nade's going to come in. Nade doesn't connect. Gogo drops. Kitsune Rush and B are both used, so B is going to get booped off. They do crush them, but they end up using both support ults for it there. And it felt like maybe an overcomplication from Quick here, as they are going to push and kill. They will kill him and spawn. They'll get Crocs out as well. But I really thought, like, when the Anna Brig showed here, let's just drop a Kitsune Rush on them. Let's really put them under a big pressure to survive. Instead, they ended up in this weird fight where Crocs was marking this side while they were starting a Kitsune Rush here. We end up using both support ults, which ultimately might cost him in the long run of this. We're going to see Lauren go on to Sojin as well, so might well just be playing a little bit more stacked with his team. Crocs hiding on his left-hand side, but again, no real ultimates here. And oh, China's actually just caught. How does China go down in that situation? They're going to try and force the push anyway. Keo is sliding in behind him. B is there, a Beak's there. They're going to get squashed between Crocs, and Eggs is going to finish off one, but the fight is not over yet. The point is going to be flipped. And R8 are actually in control of it and should be able to clean up off the back of this. B is fighting Crocs. They were ready. They read the dive coming from the right-hand side. Managed to deal with it. And how much nicer that push might have looked if they were still able to have their Kitsune Rush or their B or one of the ults like that. So now a desperate situation. Primal and Pulse coming back for Quick Esports, so it's not unwinnable, but Primal and Overclock, Nano all a little bit closer here on the side of R8. Alice is going to bubble up a choke. Crocs is going to force point. Alice and Hero are going to regroup. Chance to go again. Will get denied. He's jump. Alice is going to clear point now. Crocs is going to keep going as China's pulse bomb attempts miss, and there's just a backline trade right now. Alice is all over Keo. Alice is going to keep trading. Primal's in both backlines. They actually give a flip here, Quick Esports. Nano comes on to Lauren. It shuts down Gogo. Now he's got the overclock as well. Lauren able to take over. Just burns through now. Winston overhealth so quickly. Now he's stabilized on point. Can they get one more touch? Eggs is going to be pushed out by Bia. He's 1 HP. Bia should be able to finish that one. And it's a chaotic one. But it will be one that goes the way of R8 Esports. A lot of strange fights. A lot of really strange fights. I feel like they're trying to overload the flank a lot of the times here, Quick Esports. we see situations where rather than diving the backline, Crocs is trying to like jump on the Sojourn. The problem when they're playing this sort of like Ana Briggs Sojourn is you kind of do actually need to mark everything, right? If you don't mark the Ana, you're going to get naded. If you don't mark the Sojourn, obviously a chance to get railed. So they're actually trying to focus, by trying to focus the flank, if they want to do this, so let's think of how Nepal Sanctum is, right? When there's like a Sojourn here and an Ana Brig here. If you want to go clear the Sojourn, I think you should actually all go and clear the Sojourn. I don't think you need to play as stacked. I'd like to see more situations where they're actually just trying to overload one side with the Lucio Kiri, rather than trying to maintain all the space. But we're going to get a very different matchup now, because we're going over onto Nepal Village. All things said and done, ultimately, though, it was just one big ult fight. That went poorly for Quick Esports. That could have been the difference maker. But it's going to be a Rhine mirror now. May and Sim on the side of R8. And Cass and Torb. So Lauren obviously has the ability to get walls, and that's really high value on Village. But Cass Torb is so good at breaking walls. They can probably get through it quite quickly. And actually, it's a drop in from Crocs here. He's going to get walled off. They need to help him. Lamp comes through. Crocs is super deep. He will get focused. He's going to try and pin out. He's somehow got out of here. Unbelievable. Crocs has used every single health point available to him. They'll now be peeking on point. They have to heal everyone up. And they actually do give the first flip as a result of losing all that HP. Now Crocs is going to come through in this left-hand side. He's going for the pin. He wants to make the play. Do they know? Abik doesn't know. He's able to lamp, though. They're coming in from the other side. Crocs gets some big swings, but he trades his life for it. Ultimately 3v3, but they tank advantage now. Supports and tank available. They're going to get themselves on point to block it. And they should be okay here. Alisu has no shield, which is actually a bit of a problem. China's going to walk forward and kill Bia. Now Alisu and Abik just need to try and live if they can. Alisu's shield is going to break again. Abik has got himself out coast. Alisu can maybe pin out if he needs it. Oh, he has to go for... Yeah, he goes... Oh, the lamp's not in time. He has to go for the pin trade. The wall comes out. The window not in time. And now Abik's going to get taken care of as well. So not only do they lose the fight, they invest an ultimate for it as well. Probably not worth investing the window there. I feel like Alisu should have tried to pin out sooner. I don't know if he didn't have pin. But if Abik was already out, right? If he could have just maybe found a timing to pin out this way and there was no wall or anything to worry about, maybe he could have just got out. Now, obviously, they're retaking with Sim, which means they have the option to TP to point, or even just TP high ground like this. Forget it's only a two-man TP, it's just for DPS. They can kill the DPS if they're quick here, Quick Esports. They don't catch him, though. Lauren is super split. Come now being used on point. Beat comes through from Bia. Gogo's beat is slow, actually. So no counter beat coming back, but they've managed to stabilize. Mayo in the back now from Lauren. Can he find anyone? No. They're still trying to swing onto point. Abik is under serious duress. China is on this off angle and they're hard to deal with. And Crocs is back with the slam. And Eggs is there to clean up a couple of the kills. And somehow, some way, Quick have got themselves back onto this one. Mayo didn't get anything. They weren't able to find any value during that beat push either. And now, even though their beat was a bit slow, it is now available. So go with beat advantage. Simwall and window up soon. High Noon going to be dropped by Keo to try and keep hold of point. Crocs is happy to peek him back. They have to lamp in the corner. There goes all the shield. Crocs is going to be swinging. Unlimited goes down. Beat over the top from Gogo. And they can roll this one over. It's going to be one more attempt. One more attempt for R8 Esports. They don't get any trades either. So they do have Simwall. They do have window. So lots of good ults to go to point with. I think if I'm Quick Esports, I'd probably let them flip the point as long as they use one of these ults. If they use one of these ults to flip the point, I just go, okay. Be happy to trade now. Preferably Simwall. I think if there's a bit of game of cat and mouse here where R8 don't want to use that. They're actually going to pin it. Pin trade in front of it. Lamp is good from Eggs, but they're still going to focus down Crocs. And if they give a flip for the window, it's massive for R8 Esports. Few people still behind here. They've had to give the flip. Don't want to die too late here. China's still playing angle, and Eggs has got a window, actually. Eggs spots an opportunity. He thinks he can get them. They're all going to D-peek. They actually have just killed everyone. They had everyone on all sides. There's for Simwall. Torb on the point. Bia's going to be able to get one touch. It's hard, though. He's coming around. He's got the beat. Two-man beat, actually. Eggs is going to have to get back onto the high ground, but Crocs is now back, and he is sweeping up everything on point. How on earth did they win that one? They kind of just had like one person here, one person here, one person here. They had all the angles, and R8 just couldn't find a way to stabilize and clear one angle at a time before they just started getting picked apart. Good decision by Eggs in the end to invest in that one, try and clutch. Waits after China gets that pick, just spots the opportunity, and then China gets a pick, Q gets a pick, Eggs gets a pick. It all works out. And that's going to tie us back up. So we've seen two very different matchups. Nepal Sanctum, a dive victory for R8. and a Rhine victory on Nepal Village for Quick Esports. So we'll move on to Shrine now, which sits very much in between. Looks like it's going to be Rhine, Torb, Tracer. Okay, he's going Cass. And it's going to be Ball, Tracer, Echo coming out. So two very different compositions here. Been a hot second since we've seen too much Ball in EMEA outside of yeah. We're going to take all the angles here. You see Alisu goes for one roll through. Slam comes in. Sticky's from behind. Lauren is actually pretty committed if they can find him. Another slam through, and the pocket is good from a beak. Alisu now lines up on point, looking to go for another one. They've conceded a lot of space here, actually. Alisu's always going to take a lot of damage. It's going to take so long to heal him up with Kiri Lucio, actually. Alisu's going to go through for one more slam. Counter pin from Crocs. They're forced back, though, but it's Lauren. It's that slam and sticky timing. The slam and sticky timing so hard for him to deal with. And so far, Quick Esports are sort of being forced just to stand there and take it. Generally, when you're playing this rush composition, what you want to do is you want to find a nice area to stand, aka not really where Quick Esports were standing here. Maybe somewhere like here is a nice area to stand. Then you actually want to be quite aggressive, or even on point would be fine. You want to be quite aggressive. You don't want to let this ball just go for one swing, two swing, free swing. If you let the ball do that, eventually someone's going to find a timing. Their Echo's going to find a timing. Their Tracer's going to find a timing. And Lauren found that timing in the first one. So it's going to be a coast retake this time. China is hanging back in main. Alisu's going to come through. One boop onto Eggs. He's going to get himself onto point. They've rotated successfully onto point here. They can start pressuring it. And actually, Kio's going to catch one as Alisu comes swinging through. Lauren trying to pounce again. Does have that copy. He's copied Reinhardt. Fire Strike comes in, looking for the pin here. Wants to put pressure onto Keo. He will put some on, but Crocs is there to deal with it. They've killed the Echo now. Mine's on point from Alisu. Beat over the top. Bia has beat as well. They're trying to force him in. Crocs is awfully low, but he's still got a lot of shield left. They're trying to pressure him back, and somehow Quick Esports have weathered the storm. Eggs and Gogo have got themselves onto that high ground. Now they can take a step forward. Window from the high ground from Eggs. Catches Bia now as well. Alisu's going to try and deal with that. Eggs avoids the slam. Gogo's there to deal with him. And I probably didn't need the window in the end. They need to be careful Crocs doesn't take too much damage here. They go back to point. They stabilize on point. And that was quite a lot of ultimates used, actually. They committed the beat and everything. They do have Kitsune Rush now. R8 Esports. And Alisu's already getting himself behind early on. Beak's going to want to try and drop this one aggressively, try and connect it somewhere where it can be on the bat. China's going to spot out Alisu, but now High Noon against this Kiri ult. Alisu's going to come rolling through. Slam is there. Kyo's trying to hard peek the ball. Doesn't find anything, but they do find Lauren. It's a one-for-one trade. They're coming from all angles, actually. Alisu gets two. Hera gets the other one. Crocs is going to go for the pin, but he's outmanned. He's outgunned. And again, it's Alisu. They were able to focus down Lauren during all of that, but it's Alisu and Hera who take him on the other side. And that's the difficult thing about playing against these sort of high mobility compositions. Someone's going to come from here, someone's going to come from here, someone's going to come from here. Can you deal with all the threats? Really tricky. Really tricky if they come from all these angles. You have to try and clear one of the angles before they get this dive. We see China blinking through. They're going to come through. Boop is good on the slam, but Lauren finds the rail. Pulse Bomb just hits the shield, but now they are stranded out in no man's land. They're trying to walk again. Eggs has taken a lot of damage. Has to lamp himself out. Crocs has booped off the map. Alisu secures Boop of the day, and they'll plow forward and clean up the rest of these kills. Got China in his sights as well. China will be forced out. The Beak's going to take some shots. China's going to avoid all of them. And we're down to basically one fight either way. One fight either way. Mines available for Alisu. Not a whole lot else, but the Shatter and the Pulse, really tricky ults to get value out of into this sort of composition. They're going to come top this time. Alisu might be quite happy just to drop the mines on this door as they try and walk out. He's going to do exactly that. The slam comes in. Crocs has blocked some of it. They lamp themselves out. They've taken so much damage. Suzu wants Alisu. They boop Crocs in. Crocs is isolated. He needs help. It's Kyo who dies for Shatter on point. Catches for Tracer, but they're outmanned. All the damage coming in from up top. Lauren just had free line of sight this entire time. They took so much damage coming out of here. Then their Reinhardt gets split. It's really tricky. Gets really tricky. And it will be R8 Esports ultimately taking what was a very varied compositionally and very competitive Nepal. We'll move on to Eichenwald now. And this is obviously the map. This is the map that R8 picked. It's also the map that R8 won against. One against Twisted Minds. Again, that was on a Bat Brig Reinhardt composition, so I don't think we'll see Bat here. Does seem to be a Rein, and again, sort of double hit scan. China leaning into this Torb again. Coming out from Quick Esports. We'll see what they choose. They might just take... I don't know if they want to take the Rhine Mirror again. They did lose that Rhine Mirror back on Nepal Village. So I don't know if you really want to go into it again. A few different heroes being locked at the moment. Generally, how you want to play this defense then is it's the same kind of concept we were talking about on Nepal Shrine, where you have an area that's safe to play and you just want to try and deny people staging for you. It's actually going to be... They actually are going to run the Bat Brig. They're going to try and play slow brawl, double hit scan. So again, double hit scan from both teams. So interesting to see them lean into this. Croc's going to come aggressively. Oh my god, they just crushed him at the door. Doesn't even get a chance to lamp, does a beak. He's moved down. Counter ping comes out from... ping even comes in from Crocs, and the damage is done. The damage is done. You saw them decisive, aggressive. Most of the time you ever talk about these good brawl teams, these good brawl teams, you'll talk about their aggression, their decisiveness, and we see exactly that from Quick Esports right there. Waste no time, get themselves onto it. Here is now going to go onto Tracer, because it's a whole dive swap. It's actually a Zen, Anna, Tracer, Echo, Winston. A complete swap here. Don't want to take the brawl matchup, which I guess is reasonable, given how it went on Nepal Village. They're going to try and poke their way in slowly here. A little bit slow on ult charge. Alisu's going to dive in behind with Hero. They've isolated China. They'll kill China, but Crocs is good with a pin again. 2 fights, 2 pins. Magnetic Grenade now on Hero. And they've managed to stabilize everything. They'll now go clear them out. And, oh, Bia is still in. Bia will not be getting out of this one. And these are, in theory, the easy fights for the Quick Esports composition. Once R8 start getting towards this nano boost, this nano primal, it starts to get a little bit spooky. But they've still got a bit of a while yet. Beak's going to try and rotate, actually. Gives him the wiggle. The pin is good again from Crocs onto Alisu, and he's going to be taken care of. But Beak doesn't even make the cross. Lauren's going to have to try and fly out of here. Can he get out of here? I think he'll be okay. There we go. He'll be okay. Lauren survives to fight another day. But they're still slow cooking some of these ultimates. Nano nearly available. Fire strike onto Hera, forces him all the way out. And suddenly Quick Esports, they look decisive, they look energetic, they look so focused on clearing out all of these things. Not letting them have any space. Now we get the window in front, Shatter in behind as well. Crocs is going to land the pin on a Beak. A window, a Shatter. Decisive, quick, pacey again. And you compare this to all the time it felt like R8 Esports had on Nepal Shrine to set up their dives, to get their ball behind, to get their Sojourn or their Echo into a position. How many attempts did Alisu have on ball to go through? Loads, right? How many times has Alisu been allowed to even breathe so far on this map? None so far, but now the scary fights, the ult fights, and a bit of a rotation here. They've given a lot of space, actually, but Alisu's going to get caught. I think he was hoping he would get that primal, but he certainly doesn't. Now they're going to turn on Lauren. Lauren's going to get the nano. They lamp to deal with this. They manage to get back inside the house. Lauren will survive, and Bia's actually got that kill from downtown. Crocs is going to push a Beak. Doesn't land for pin, though. Crocs is pushing all the way in while they try and deal with him on point, but the defensive Transcendence comes out, and now a chance for a Beak to push back forward. Crocs will not be getting out of this one. The Beak doesn't save him, and this should be the first point falling eventually for R8 Esports. They have to use, well, pretty much everything. Pretty much everything in the end. But they'll get the first point with 30 seconds to spare, and we'll be moving on to second. And now, to be fair, in this part of second, how's China got that kill? On this part of the map, it should actually favour the dive composition. Suddenly they can do a lot more things through point. And actually, they want to fight before the choke. The pulse comes in, and actually Hera dies for it. China's going to come everywhere, keeps Crocs alive. The gates will open, but they can take this fight anyway. Crocs is already through. A Beak's rotated behind. A Beak has a big nade opportunity now. Doesn't find anything. Crocs has spotted out a Beak as well. Sleep onto him, but Gogo's still going. Lauren's going to try and turn the kill, but he's awake. They've stabilized in the tunnel, but Alisu is coming with primal. They are trapped here. Here comes Alisu. They weren't ready for this. Egg still has lamp, but they're all so low. They'll die on point. Forces out. forces out one of the ults at least. Now they don't have a primal to deal with coming back. And they didn't really use anything there. Obviously, they used the Molten Core early on at the start of the fight. But nothing else, really. But a chance now to get high ground for this backline. We see a Beak already all the way up. Might be another nano onto... Maybe onto Alisu this time since Lauren has copy. There we go. Alisu's going to land. Lamp is forced, but oh my god, he's shattered. He's shattered, and there's a window, so he will be absolutely shredded. Alisu having no luck. This copy is going nowhere from Lauren either. And Quick Esports, they've stabilized. They're looking for the backline. Crocs has him in his sight. He's considering going to deal with him. He's looking for him. One slam, he is slept, but here comes Gogo. Gogo and Eggs able to clean up both of those. Alisu is back now, but there's nothing really for him to deal with. Or maybe it's not quite over yet. Hera is on this high ground still. They're making it a dogfight, and they're actually going to start forcing point. Lauren is jumping top. They've actually pulled him apart here. Quick haven't been able to stabilize, and now all of a sudden, Hera has a bit of space on cart. Has this pulse bomb soon as well. We'll try and get out of there. Behind him's bought him some space, but they're now on the back foot. Hera coming in with this pulse bomb. Wants to try and force it. Pulse bomb will miss, though. Still more pressure onto Keo. Will finish the kill regardless. Now the primal onto point. Eggs is off the map. The beat is no good. They're going to keep forcing it in. Oh... They did such good work in the first part of this second, but then they just get lost. They get lost in the mid-fight. Alisu and Hera are able to find the timing. They team up, they get those kills, and then once they're holding forward, Hera makes the play, even if he misses the pulse bomb. Alisu with the primal boop as well. And again, you compare note situation towards the end of second, how much were Quick Esports able to be active and clearing stuff, versus how much were they just sort of standing there and trying to tank everything. It's going to be a Molten Core to start it, but I don't think R8 are too bothered about this. Just walk out of it. Just walk out of it. Crocs will try and find something. They pushed him all the way back to the choke, but nothing more. Transcendence available for Bia, which means the options to be aggressive are somewhat limited here, and they did obviously use that beat in the previous fight. Now the nano comes through from Alisu again, trying to get on it, but oh, it's the counter pin from Crocs, and these nanos have gone absolutely nowhere. Say that though, Lauren has actually maybe managed to get in and kill two with this copy. Defensive window comes out, Eggs is able to kill Hera, so they will stabilize actually thanks to that Eggs amplification matrix. And where is Bia going? He's not getting out of this one. He's surely not. Oh, he's going to transcend, actually. He's trapped him. He's going to tank for pin. Crocs is going to try and go. They try and lamp Crocs out. They forced him all the way back, actually. I don't know about that transcendence. Was it really worth it? I mean, it keeps him alive. It keeps him fighting, but it would be nicer against one of these ults, surely, because Crocs just have that shatter, and we've seen Alisu get taken for a ride with lots of these nano engagers, lots of these primal engagers. He's going to jump above initially now, forces Keo down. Lauren's going to get up there as well. Pressure now onto Crocs from both sides, and we actually want to try and clear him out here. Keo and Gogo want to fight. Keo's going to get one, actually. Alisu's not going to quite get primal. He does get primal in time. Alisu's going to go again, separates Keo, comes back to try and help his team, because Crocs is good with a shatter on Bia, and Alisu just has to get out. And these primals haven't been going anywhere. These nanos haven't been going anywhere. Quick Esports have dealt with them. It's such a hard comp to play. It's one of those comps where I feel like what Toronto do all the time, where they nano in their Winston when he's like on 70, 80% of primal, and they do nano Winston into primal. That's sort of a way to go against this. So it's a very expensive combo, but it's very effective into this sort of comp. It's so hard for the enemy team to deal with. But so far, actually, it felt like every time there was a nano engage, every time there was a primal engage, maybe except for that one bridge primal, you know, where Alistair was able to boop Eggs off. Other than that, it really feels like all of these engages have been really taken care of. I think the bigger problem is it's Hera and Lauren causing them more issues at the moment. But ultimately, not too bad. I think first point was really good. I think second point, even all of this part of second, I think was really reasonable as well for Quick Esports. And then the third point, obviously, like favors their comp quite a lot, but quite reasonable. It was just this bit here where they sort of won the fight, but then lost the fight. The danger of playing into these competitions when it's like a Tracer, Winston, Echo, something like that, is they have such high mobility, such ability to carry in these mid-fight situations. If you're not careful, you can just lose the fight, even if you really aren't losing the fight.
5, 4, 3.
So we'll see now, and it will be Zen Ana defense again. Beacon Bia holding relatively close. And again, there's this sort of window of time for the Lucio team here where they're not quite at full strength in terms of ultimates or anything. Alessio's going to get a decent amount of cleave, and he'll take care of the turret. They managed to get in top. China's going to get naded as well. Alessio's going to farm a little bit more. Has to bubble, but he's got quite a lot as long as he can get out here. Back to half health. And Bia's actually going to find one. It's Keo as well. They're just getting harassed from all the different sides. Trying to plow forward here. Alessio is still working his way in. China's just trying to make some money moves across point. Any trade would have been good for him, but can't find it. And now, back to the drawing board. If they're actually going to swap, they're just going to swap onto dive. Seems quite reasonable. Maybe Keo goes Sojin as well, I'd expect. Maybe they're just going to cast it on up. But now a chance just to dive this Zen Ana. So Bia and a Beak have to start playing a little bit closer together. They have to make sure they have line of sight of each other for when these dives come in. Unless he's actually going to get forced all the way out. Nate, a Beak's just about able to keep him alive. Scary there, and they've lost Hero. And now they've been pushed back into this choke. Crocs can just contain all of them. Not the greatest bubble from Crocs. They still got him pressed in at the choke, though, so they'll be okay. And of course, remember, it is Icon Wall, so it's going to cap awfully quickly. So no chance for a recontest. A Beak and Bia going to try and get high ground. They're a little bit slow to get high ground here, actually. Crocs can maybe catch him if he's quick. Crocs and Gogo are thinking about it. Crocs is going to get behind him. The rotation was slow. They're going to nano defensively here. They're trying to deal with Bia. Oh, boy, he's coming back. Gogo's going to try and get out as well. Can they get everyone out? If they just force nano, get out, and the gate's opening. Even though they don't manage to get the kill there, they've really won the economic battle. And now we can see Keo's actually trying to make his way up here with China. He's actually managed to push and kill Hera. How has he got away with that one? Crocs has died for high ground meanwhile. And look, Bia's position is isolated versus China. China happy to take this duel. Just have recall if he needs it. He's solo. A Beak's there as well. Crocs is the other side. Crocs is the other side. China is he's just toying with him. The backline has been killed. He will get traded at least by Hera, so they can maybe delay it out. Eggs and Crocs are on the high ground. Hera is still battling away there. Eggs' one will go down. Crocs is getting primed away on point. Alessia does have a health advantage, so can just about stabilize point. They lost first quickly, so it's really important they get a decent hold here on second. Keo's actually... Oh, Keo's in too deep. Keo will just die. A little bit sloppy at the end from Keo, and China's already... Oh, he's pulse bombing. He got Bia. He forced for Transcendence. Big trade. Big trade for China. And again, Quick Esports are able to just sort of disengage, get some of the nice ultimates out of R8 Esports, and then look to go again. Cart's about halfway as Crocs is going to jump across to rotate. Now they want to bully Adasu out. He's going back. Dive on. Sleep is dodged, actually, so a Beak under pressure. Has to nade himself defensively. Now, Crocs is priming. Crocs wants to keep going. Look how separated Lauren is. Lauren will be taken down. The rest of Quick Esports are able to stabilize. They're going to start forcing through point. Crocs is on the high ground. Oh, he's been naded, actually. Oh, Crocs is going to get traded there. Makes a mess with the tail end of that primal. They're going to try and hold on to point. Kitsune rush. No Winston, but they're going to make it work. Alisu will not get this primal when they are pushing it in. Bia's going to be able to take this flank on the left-hand side. We'll be able to get high ground, but Crocs is coming back on Doom. Gogo has beat. Lauren just has overclock. Needs to hit something kind of crazy with it. Goes with Keo. Gets the nano boost as well. Kills one. We'll just try and burn through eggs. He's done enough, actually. He's done enough. But nano's overclock. It's a powerful combo. It deals with the beat. He gets that opening pick. And Lauren combines with a Beak. They get the business done. And that's a huge fight, actually. That was a really scary one. Having to fight in this part of the map against Beat without, like, a defensive transcendence or anything. But, I mean, they made it work. Now, Doom again for Crocs. Is he just going to try and force point? Will get Big Punch, but has to get out of there. They catch eggs, actually. I don't know what they were quite trying with this rotation. They just sort of got met by everyone. Need to try and do something to pull them out of position. If you just try and walk underneath, I feel like you're just going to get hit by a nade, hit by a Winston timing every single time. They're really spread out now. Look at Keo's position. How's Keo really gotten here? I don't know. Crocs is coming back up. Punch up top. Eggs is going to come underneath with him. China's going to go to point while this is happening. Keo will get focused down. Doom behind him, though. B is going to be knocked down to the low ground. A Beak trying to hold on, trying to keep him and his Zen alive. And I think they've stabilized, actually. Thought it would be a more stressful situation for a Beak, but doesn't seem that stressful at all. They've just dealt with it. Just dealt with it. Really not got a whole lot done of a Doomfist so far since he's come on Crocs. And now the ult bank for R8 Esports is looking substantial. Transcendence, Nano, all of his defensive tools, and we actually want to try and catch him in the house here. Crocs is going to come up the left-hand side, but B and a Beak. You can see him playing tight. A Beak's going to get punched out of position, but B is going to turn on him, just deals with him. Meanwhile, Alisu just cleaving everyone as they walk through. And it feels like Quick Esports are out of ideas. They need to do something differently. This castle push, they've just been crushed multiple times, and they're not forcing ultimates out of it. So now, as we go into a 45 seconds left on the clock, R8 Esports have every single ult. Desperate for this Kitsune rush is Eggs. We're going to try and rotate left. Again, Alisu's going to cleave. They catch Go-Go, actually. Lauren combines with Alisu. B is going to deal with Crocs as well. I didn't even see when that was. B is just chasing Crocs around. No fear of him. They're going to get all these kills. And, oh, where's Keo going? They surely know. They surely know. He'll get taken care of. Now the touch is going to be a desperate one, whereas China's just respawned. Obviously, Crocs can touch as well. He's actually gone too early now. He needs to touch at 3 seconds. He can try and put some of his pressure onto Bia. He's going to try and get the big punch. Just get the big punch, to be fair. Doesn't connect, though. Defensive nano onto Bia, and Bia can just take over from this point. Clears for Sombra. Kitsune rush on point. Will just about tiptoe his way back onto point. Transcendence, to be sure. And it ends up being a good hold. A good hold, ultimately, on Eichenwald. I feel like this was, again, it was a 2-0 to R8 Esports. I can update the scoreboard now if I'm good. I'm good. So 2-0 to R8 Esports could have been very different, honestly. I think we saw a very different matchup today, right? We're like lots of teams playing some of like double. I didn't expect to see Zen Anna today. I don't know how if I expected to see a Rhine mirror today. Lots of things seem to be kind of all over the place in terms of what comps people are playing. I don't think, compared to maybe when we watched R8 versus Twisted Minds and we thought Alisu looked really good on the Rhine, I think he probably had the worst of the Rhine battle today, even though it was a quite small part of the series. His Winston seemed to really struggle into when it was into like this version of a comp with like the Rhine, it was like was it Torp Cass, I think they were on. So Alice's Winston seemed to really struggle today. I thought Bia played well, to be fair. Looked good on the Zen as well, for what it was worth. I thought Hera and Lauren both had very good days. I feel like maybe it was one of the OWCS games where I watched Lauren play. Maybe it was, to be fair, it might have been against SSG, so you probably play a caveat now, it's against SSG. But felt Lauren didn't have that, kind of just got shown up by Sparker a lot, which maybe is true of a lot of people, but felt like Lauren actually had a very good game today. Huge clutch on second. Probably the play of the day, right? That clutch on second, given the ult situation they were in and everything. We can see it again from his point of view. We can go back and watch some highlights while we do this, but yeah, defensive nade, gets it, manages to kill the cast. That's the important one, is killing the cast before the beat comes through. And then everything after that ends up being relatively straightforward. I think if I'm what do you call them? If I'm what do you call these guys? If I'm I guess it's a little bit hard because Crocs is here. But if I'm Quick Esports, I'm probably looking to go like I'm sort of standing, like if I'm standing here, right, and I'm looking at this Anna, it's just over for him, right? It should just, I feel like it's just over for this Anna, you know? So then, like, despite having sort of this advanced position and a Beak having to sort of walk out the choke and doing this difficult disengage, actually it's still R8 Esports who managed to go first in this situation. And actually start the fight. And I think as much as like Lauren does a good job to clean this up and like pocket him through, obviously, if he doesn't get this kill on Keo, I think this fight looks so different, right? This fight looks so different all of a sudden. I mean, I think to be fair, R8 do play it well. Like they get the defensive nano off. Bia goes on this big old flank, you know. And I imagine if I watch it from Bia's point of view, I'm gonna see Bia get like pretty reasonable value in all of this, you know. Well, he hit one thing. There we go. Maybe he didn't need to get that much value. But yeah, even if Lauren does, he's in like a really good position if Lauren doesn't get all these kills. So yeah, a lot of different compositions. I'm not convinced by the Zen and a Brig, because I think in theory when they swap to something like this, maybe not with the Cass and not with the Doom, but something with like a Winston. I don't know what would be best. Maybe a Soldier's fine. Maybe a Genji or something. Maybe Echo's kind of hard, but something like that. I feel like actually should make this Zen Anna's life really hard. The Zen Anna should be, when you play this type of matchup, what should be forced to happen is the Zen Anna should be forced to play really well. And I thought a Beacon Bia had a fine game, but I don't think they were tested that thoroughly on lots of these situations, you know? Like there was a couple of times when I was watching Peel here, I was like, oh, here comes the pressure. I was like, oh, maybe not. Not actually that much pressure, so I feel like a few issues there in terms of their sort of like target selection and how they're connecting with some of these dives. I think to be fair, I felt the same on if we cast our minds back to Nepal. I think I actually felt kind of the same about a lot of those pushes as well, where the choice of how Quick Esports were choosing to dive one, like, you know, when like Crocs would maybe dive left side, but the rest of his team would keep playing the main side. It actually felt, well, I don't know if this is actually what we want to do, you know what I mean? Like, can we actually just connect all of these things a little bit more? Especially if they're playing Anna Brig. Like, I think the matchup looks very different when you're playing against Anna Brig, or actually it's Anna Brig. Yeah, they should just die loads. They should die loads. They should have a really hard time, especially on a map like Nepal Sanctum, where you can just stuff them in a choke. I don't think that was true for Quick Esports. So I think Quick Esports still look exciting and decisive when they can play a Lucio-based composition. I think the dive stuff looked really, really rough for them, and maybe that means they're going to keep running into this problem, because obviously, if we talk about the Anna Zen is pretty good against the Reinhardt, right? It can be really hard to deal with, lots of utility, nades, Discord, all of this. But the reason lots of teams don't run Zen Anna is because if the Lucio team swaps to Kiri Winston instead of, like, say, a Rein Bap or something, or a Bap Ram or whatever it might be, all of a sudden that Zen Anna's life gets super difficult. And that's the theory, but if you're not able to actually put them in that danger when you swap to the Kiri Winston, then it doesn't actually work. And maybe that's what we kind of saw on Eichenwald. Now, even though I think the swaps in theory, maybe not the Doom swap, maybe the Doom swap I don't think is actually better. But the Winston swap and the Kiri swap, I think, are the right swaps from Quick. But if you're not actually able to punish this Zen Anna or pull them apart or put them under pressure, then the theory doesn't work if you can't actually kill them, right? And I don't think a Beacon Bia's life was made hard enough to date. But they still played well. I think ultimately, if I had to pick player of the match, is it maybe just Hera? Trying to think. I think Alisu had a way rougher series than we saw against Twisted Minds. I thought Bia was good. I thought, Bia and a Beak, absolutely solid. Hera had a lot of nice plays, a couple of big individual moments. The nice pulse bomb double, some of the nice, like, you think of their Eichenwald attack when they were able to win that, like, really scrappy fight. Actually, I'm pretty sure that was, like, Hera spotting the opportunity and calling Alisu to come to him, you know? I think it was actually, Hera made a lot of these crucial plays, especially on Eichenwald, and obviously in, you know, double pulse bomb kill. So maybe it's a bit fucking basic to give it to the Tracer player. But it was either him. I think Bia's worth a shout for someone who had a particularly good game. Any other closing thoughts? These are maybe kind of like miscellaneous thoughts categorized in no particular order. I felt like Gogo's beats were always slow. I don't know if I have an exact read on that. I felt like loads of these beats were slow. It also seemed like Kia was playing a lot of a Cass, especially once we go on Winston. Maybe the Sojourn would have been better. So, not as sure. And then for R8 Esports, I do wonder as well of what was their swap? What's the swap if they were just losing to the Winston, Kiri, Lucio? Do they think maybe Eichenwald, they can just make it work? You know, there's a couple of situations where I feel like R8 didn't run into problems today, but could have run into problems. So, as much as they should be happy with the win today, obviously, why wouldn't you be? But there's a bit of me that's like, especially like when they were attacking third point and they were on Zen and a Winston, and I was like, Well, this comp has sort of run out of, is now like, how do we transition now into an effective comp? Do we have to just rely on ults? It is sort of, what's the swap to a more effective composition on this third point? So, and likewise, even on the defense, when it was like, the Zen Nana ended up working, but I thought their life was made a bit easy. What happens? You know, what does the swap game exactly look like from R8? Because we had this problem against Twisted Minds, where they just stuck the Bat Brig, even in the Rhine. Even once Twisted Minds took into a Rhine mirror, they kind of stuck their comp. Again, they're sticking their comp here. It works out today, but obviously a lower caliber of opposition. No disrespect, obviously, you know, just quick versus Twisted. I guess the only other thing would be maybe a look ahead at what else is coming in round 3. So where are we right now? This was, we've got this one. Some of the games, this will be on Thursday, depending on what time you're watching this, but Ataraxia versus Ents is definitely going to be worth a watch. Twisted Minds versus Quick, also going to be worth a watch. Maybe even R8 versus SSG. Not too bad, not too bad. I don't know if any of the others really, maybe New Age v Temporary. Temporary name could be worthwhile. But still quite a few good games to come out, so stay tuned to it all. I'll try and bring you, obviously, some of these games on my Twitch, which will be up here, I think, pointing in the right direction, and more of these. I'm going to keep casting them, keep bringing you the action, trying to bring you as much coverage as I can. We're also going to be doing some of the North American ones. I'm just trying to get hold of the replay codes. A little bit tricky with time zones and everything. But more action coming. Stay tuned. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys all for the next match.